pressures on moms today are greater than ever. It is the toughest job in the world. Just think of what's expected of a mom in our modern society that is so success-driven. She got to have a successful career, keep the house spotless, raise perfect children, be a great cook, and at the same time look like a supermodel. Yet, this thing about pressure and stress on moms is really nothing new. Just think of the first mother in the Bible. Eve was blamed for the original sin by her husband. Her eldest son would kill and eventually kill and murder the younger brother. Then you have Jochebed, the mother of Moses. She was pregnant at the time when the Egyptians were killing all the male Hebrew babies. And when baby Moses was born, she had to put him in a basket and let loose on a river, and then cross her finger, hoping that the basket would not sink. Then you have Mary, the mother of Jesus. She had no room for her in the inn, and she had to flee to Egypt to escape Herod's wrath. Then when her boy Jesus was 12 years old, he went missing for 3 days in the shopping mall, in Jerusalem. Can you imagine? You bring your kid to IKEA, and your kid was missing for 3 days in the mall. Stress. You know what? She had to witness her own son being put on trial and eventually crucified. You know what? As I think of all the mothers in the world, there are only 3 words to describe mothers: stress, stress, stress. But this morning, I want to share with you a message that will encourage you. I want to share with you a mother in the Bible who was desperate and totally stressed out. But it became the turning point of her life. And that brings us to Matthew chapter 15. And let me read out to you from verse 21 to verse 28. He says here, "Then Jesus went out from there and departed to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came from that region and cried out to him, saying, 'Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely demon-possessed.' But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, 'Send her away, for she cries out after us.' But he answered and said, 'I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.' Then she came and worshipped him, saying, 'Lord, help me.' But he answered and said, 'It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs.' And she said, 'Yes, Lord, yet even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table.' Then Jesus answered and said to her, 'O woman, great is your faith. Let it be to you as you desire.' And her daughter was healed from that very hour." Now, friends, here we have a nameless mother, and her daughter was severely demon-possessed. Her friends had no answers. The doctors had no solutions, because day and night, the evil spirit would torment, punish, and wound her daughter. She carried a heartache every single day, the heartache that most people wouldn't even believe. Because how to tell your friends and your neighbors that there is a ghost that come and visit our home every night? Who would believe that? It is ridiculous. But when this mother heard about Jesus, there is a glimmer of hope that maybe this miracle worker can help my daughter. But yet, who was she? Who was she to seek help from this holy rabbi? You see, she was a nameless woman. She was neither rich nor famous. And we don't even know Where was her husband? She was a Canaanite. You know what? Canaanites were hostile enemies of Israel. Then the Bible says that she was a Gentile. And in those days, you know what? Jews and Gentiles, they do not fellowship together. And Jesus was a Jew. How can she approach this holy man of God to seek for a miracle? It's an impossible task. But yet, in just one encounter, Jesus summed up her character in 4 words. Great is your faith. Great is your faith. Not once did Jesus say to Peter, James, or even John, that great is your faith. In fact, this comment, great is your faith, was only mentioned once. Once in the Bible, in the Gospel of Matthew. Not to the disciples, not to the closest 3, but to a nameless woman. Only 4 words, but they were enough to enshrine this nameless woman forever as one of the greatest mothers of all time. The second thing that Jesus saw was hope. Hope in her eyes. You see, hope fuels perseverance. When we exhaust all our resources, hope enables us to reach down and discover strength beyond our own. And for the Canaanite mother, the hope for her daughter's healing and deliverance superseded the pain of her struggle. The crowd may ridicule at her. Racial slur could not dissuade her. Even Jesus' silent treatment could not quench the fire of hope in her soul. Because hope fuels perseverance. And concerning hope, Apostle Paul explained it very, very well in Romans chapter 8. So let me read to you a short passage, Romans 8, verse 18. Paul said here, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." And then in verse 24, he went on, "For we are saved in this hope." Everybody say with me, we are saved in this hope. But hope that is sin is not hope. For why does one still hope for what he sees? For if we hope for what we do not see, we eagerly wait for it with perseverance. What is Paul saying over here? Paul said that suffering is in the present. In verse 18, he said, consider the sufferings of this present time. Present sufferings. But then future glory. Present sufferings, but future glory. In other words, all sufferings, all problems, all the stress that we are going through, they are all temporary. It never lasts forever. And if you can keep walking, every single day when you wake up, you just keep walking. Walk into your future. You will come to the day of glory. Because present, you may be going through sufferings, but if you keep walking in the future, the glory will come. The promises of God will come. See, the problem with us has to do with our seeing. Because Paul says, you see, when we hope that our hope is concerning those things that cannot be seen, because in the future, we do not know what the future holds for us. So every time when our eyes look at the natural circumstances, we become discouraged, stressed out. We start giving up. So what hope has to do with your vision, the way you see things. So Paul said, when you hope, you got to eagerly wait. What do you mean by eagerly wait? To understand eagerly wait, look at verse 19. Romans 8:19, Paul said, "For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits." So when you eagerly wait, you got to have earnest expectation. Okay, everybody say with me, earnest expectation. Interesting word, because in Greek, this word earnest expectation is this big word called apokaradokia. That's why it's like speaking in tongues. It's apokaradokia. Apokaradokia means, let me give you the meaning, it means to wait with expectation, with the head raised, with your eyes fixed on the horizon. It depicts someone standing tiptoe, stretching the neck, craning forward. What is Paul saying? Paul is saying this: when you go through your life, walk like that. The problem with us is that we walk through life like that. We can only see the now, the problem, our financial situation, relationship difficulties. We see all the troubles. But Paul says, present, if your eyes is fixed on the present, all you can see is suffering. But if you can raise your eyes and cast your eyes on the horizon, the sun is going to rise again. On 6 August 1945, at 8:15 a.m., the atomic bomb was dropped on the city of Hiroshima. The population then was estimated at 350,000 people. Half the population was wiped out as the result of the atomic bomb. The city was totally destroyed. Within 2-kilometer radius, all buildings were leveled. At the center of the explosion, temperature reached as high as 4,000 degrees Celsius. That means metals melt. Human skins hung like ribbons. Water in human body evaporated within seconds. 20 minutes later, after the blast, suddenly from the sky came what we call the black rain. Because this rainwater contained radioactive material. Now, because of the heat that the people went through, they were so thirsty. And when the rainwater came, they just opened their mouth and drinking all the radioactive material. So if you did not die because of the blast, you will eventually die because of the radioactive material. So in just a few seconds, Hiroshima became a dead city, a population with no hope and no future. Because if you do not die today, you'll die in the future. That's it. That's your future. No hope, no future. In fact, scientists came together and studied the ground. And they said that within the next 75 years, nothing will grow out of the ground in Hiroshima. Nothing. The people were totally devastated, and they were thinking what to do, where to live, how to go. What's our future? What's our tomorrow? But you know what? Just within a short few months, suddenly out of the ground came a little flower that bloomed. The flower is called the Olinda flower. And when the people of Hiroshima saw that flower can grow, didn't the scientists say that for 75 years, didn't the studies, the calculation, the mathematical formula say that for 75 years nothing will come out of the ground? But yet, the flower bloomed. And that gave the entire population hope. Hope to rebuild the city again. And they start putting their hands to work. And today, we have the beautiful city of Hiroshima. I was in Hiroshima a couple of years ago, and I read this story when I was visiting the museum, and I cried. I wept because I was so touched that if you can have hope, the problem is not with the technology. They have all the technology, the creativity, the talent, the gifts, the ability to rebuild the entire city. But they couldn't do it because their heart was hopeless. But if you have hope, you can dig deep into your soul and find creativity, talents, ability, strength to keep persevering until the promise comes to pass in your life.